as working parents with a toddler and a teenager and a business, busy is our middle name. So in this video, we're going to be talking to you about how you can create your ideal week no matter what life throws at you.
Hi, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Tasha with One Big Happy Life, where we help you find balance, build wealth, and live happy. Everything that you need to create the life that you want.
Yeah, so Tasha and I both work full-time jobs. We've got a toddler and a 17-year-old who's in college right now.
But still lives at home.
So we are busy, and planning out our weeks is crucial to making sure we get everything done. And I completely forgot to mention that we also run a business on the side.
Which is about to be my full-time job. And he also didn't mention that he's getting started doing triathlons again. So we've got some major shifts happening in our schedule, our ideal week. And so as we are recreating our ideal week, we thought we'd share the strategies with you so that you can implement them in your busy life.
So the first thing that really helps us is planning ahead of time. If you find yourself on Monday morning planning out your Monday, you're probably going to be a little bit more stressed and a little bit behind because you should have already had that done so you don't have to worry about it the day of, because that leads to a lot of second guessing and flying by the seat of your pants, which that's just extra stress and also less efficient than getting it done before. So what we like to do is at the end of the week, plan the next week, at least a day or two in advance, so you already know what's coming.
Number 2, we time block. So where possible, we set aside dedicated chunks of time to tackle things. So for example, we're going to be spending the next 2 hours shooting YouTube videos. And before that, we will have spent 2 or 3 hours outlining and planning those outlines for what we're talking to you about right now. So that's how we chunk a lot of the activities we do. Or to make it more practical, if you don't have a YouTube channel or your own business, meal prep. Right? We set aside a chunk of time, 2 to 4 hours, just depending on what we have going on, to meal prep our food for the entire week. So we knock that out and we don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, what are we going to eat on busy weeknights? We don't have to worry about a whole bunch of cleanup because we spent time cooking. No, it's all taken care of. And we're going to do another video where we go deeper into time blocking / batching. So stay tuned for that.
Number 3, look for ways to delegate as many responsibilities as you can. Especially true if you have kids. Your kids are capable of doing something after they reach, around 3 or so. They can start learning skills and tasks around the house. So it's important that you don't try to tackle everything, especially around the house, by yourself. You've got a family or you've got a roommate or somebody. Try to split it up as best you can. Even our son Reeves just started dressing himself.
Yeah, and actually insisting that he dress himself in the morning and then also at night because he wants to be independent. He can also independently clean up the living room, which is where the majority of his toys are. But in order to facilitate that, we had to create organizational systems that were easy for him to use. So like he has bins and shelves where things go. So he is able, once we tell him, okay, this is where this goes, he knows how to put it back. And so another task like Alexis, she cleans the kitchen, she takes out the trash. And then we also split tasks between the two of us. So we just flip-flopped before like a week ago. I was handling laundry and Joseph was handling all of the meal prep, but now we've switched and I'm handling the meal prep and Joseph's handling the laundry. The last thing I will say about delegation, which is something that I'm aspiring to do someplace over the next 6 months, is to get household help to buy back our time. So we are looking to fit in a housekeeper in our budget at some point, who can also do our grocery shopping so we don't have to run those errands. And we might, I've kind of looked at it, do wash and fold for our laundry because we really do spend like 8 hours a week on laundry. That's a lot of time that I would rather spend together as a family, going out, taking a walk in the park. Plus Joseph wants to do triathlons. So the more time we free up from everyday household chores, the more time we have to do the things that we really want to do and fit those things into our ideal week.
Yeah, and that is just another way to delegate, getting outside help to come in. So that's a great way to do it. Number 4, Plan out your biggest, most important things and also the most time-consuming things first as you're making your weekly plan, and then fit in the other things that are more flexible. So for instance, if your job isn't flexible, you work steady hours, go ahead and put that on the calendar so you just don't forget about it. Also, if you've got big commuting times, things like that, meetings, child activities after school, those kinds of things, plan those out. And then look for the more flexible things, like maybe you can switch which day you do your grocery shopping or laundry, house cleaning, or moving your workouts, in my case, around whatever time you have available.
And then after that, the next thing that you'll want to do is plug in your big goals that you're working on right now for the year. And that could be whether it's starting your side hustle, growing your side hustle to a full-time business, getting fit, or even spending more time with your significant other. Like maybe you decided, hey, we need to set aside 1 hour a week for child-free, not watching movies, just focused on my partner time. Plug that in. You've got to, if you want to make progress on your goals, on your priorities, you have to make them a priority by putting them in your calendar.
Another thing not to forget is planning in a little bit of you time. And Tasha mentioned couple time, that's important as well. So make sure you actually block it out, because if you don't, a busy week will kind of creep around and eat up whatever free time you initially had. And you're like, oh, those blank spots in my calendar, that's going to be my free time. If you don't block it out, it will get eaten up, because there is always something to be doing.
And don't be afraid to block out and say, play video games, and just put that hour in there. If that's something that's important to you, pay attention to how your week feels at the end of the week. What did you feel like you were missing out on? And if you felt like you didn't have enough time to play video games or watch Netflix or whatever it is, what you need to do is actually decide how much time you want to devote to those activities and then put them in your calendar. Yes, put watch Netflix on your calendar. Put do nothing on your calendar if that is what you want to use that time for. That way, everybody knows, and we share our calendars with each other. So we each have Google Calendars, and we each have access to each other's calendars. So I know when Joseph is going to be swimming, biking, or running. Joseph knows when I'm going to be getting my lashes done or when I have a wax appointment. We know when Alexis is going to be hanging out with friends or heading off to college, heading off to one of her college classes. And so we already know what's on each other's calendars, including playing video games.
Another important thing is to make sure that you leave some time at the end of your week to plan for the following week, so that you can get in a positive cycle and you're not always trying to catch up on your plans during the week.
And then the last tip that we have is to have some contingency plans for if your schedule doesn't turn out the way that you want it to, especially for things that might tempt you to then go and spend to fix the problem. Because when you don't plan that spending in advance, it ends up busting your budget or costing you more than if you had just decided you were going to do that in the first place. So one of the things that we like to do is when we go grocery shopping, we'll usually pick up 1 or 2 freezer meals that are pre-prepared. That way, if something happens and we didn't get to finish meal prep as planned, we can just go down to the freezer and pick from one of the pre-made frozen meals that we purchased, and that way we're not tempted to spend what ends up being easily $60 or $70 on takeout for a family of 4.
Yeah, another great thing is having a bagged salad, so you're getting some easy prep greens. You just open up a few packages, and yeah, that has saved us a lot of times because we do have so much going on. All right, well, we hope that you use all these tips and they help plan your weeks out so you're stress-free. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.